Welcome to the Cars and Cancer podcast. My name's Aid, and in this episode, as always, I'm joined by Andy and Darren. It's actually episode 12 now, so I hope you enjoy it.
Hi guys.
Hi Darren.
All right, Darren.
Yes, Simon, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Loving that picture, Darren.
Pardon?
Amazing.
Loving that drawing.
Oh, thank you.
Better than that crap you normally do.
Yeah, well, I've been practicing, but I've listened to all your advice, mate, and all your tips, and it's been paying off. Oh, brilliant.
No, mate, it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, you showed us a snippet when we were at the show, didn't you? But
yeah, and I finally finished it, and I've still got it here next to me. Actually, I haven't phoned Fran up yet and told her it's ready because I'm not quite ready to let her have it yet.
Yeah,
I keep sort of looking at it, thinking, "Oh, I could just do that bit. I could just do that," and I'm thinking, "No, just leave it now. Just don't go back to it, and just leave it." Or you sort of keep going on and on, you know.
So I've kind of started record already, and I just thought I'd just go with the flow and stuff. So
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, we were just saying about Darren's a bit of an artist, aren't you? Not a piss artist. You're an actual genuine artist, really. And
I've laid off the beer a little bit and picked up the pencils.
Yeah,
to be honest.
No, but that drawing is it your granddaughter? Is it?
No, it's actually the daughter of Francesca. She's got an accountancy business, and she does, like, when we're being self-employed, she does my accounts for me.
Yeah.
So I just sort of chuck her all the bits and bobs and let her sort it all out, and she kind of deals with everything. You know, she's brilliant. She is. Yeah. I used to do it myself, but I just find it a bit too much now, to be honest. I just like to go out, do my job, and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It isn't my field really, and I just haven't got the patience. I used to be alright, but I tried doing it when I wasn't very well, and I made a complete cock up, and then she had to have 3 years with me accounts to sort out the mess on me but just simply because of 1 year trying to do it when I wasn't well enough.
Yeah.
So I just thought, that's it, time to leave it alone.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, pay somebody to do it who knows what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went over to see her. How it came about was I went to go and see her because she kept on, "Darren, have you got any paperwork ready for me yet?" And it was like all the time, and I'm like, "Oh no, I forgot to get it ready for her and take it over." So I finally did, and she moved into some new offices at Stone, and the office was above like a little sort of tea room cum cafe type thing. And on the way out, there were some pictures on the wall, and I said, "Oh, they're nice." And there was watercolours like, and I said, "Oh, I've never tried watercolours." And so she asked, "Oh, if I paint?" And I said, "No, I just do sort of pencil picture at the moment." And that. And she said, "Oh, that's like, yeah, have you got any?" So I showed her one of a little girl that I did for my son's best friend. And she just said, "Oh, if I give you a picture, would you be able to do something like that for me?" I went, "Well, I'll give it a go." And this actually is the only second colour portrait of a person I've done.
Yeah.
I always normally do animals. I find them. I've always just loved doing animals, really. And it's surprising how much easier they are just to do. It's taking a bit of practice, but it was getting there, I think. Yeah.
I was thinking it might be quite difficult with animals, with all the different fur and the how you replicate fur in a drawing and all that kind of thing. I imagine
it can be difficult. Yeah. It's what I find with people though is that against an animal, with an animal, you can sort of use the fur to sort of show the shadows and things. You know what I mean? And it's like with a person, there is no such thing as like a line around the eye sort of thing, or as such. You do on certain parts, you get some sort of heavier hand on any markings around, but basically everything's made up just with like one colour blending next to another. There's no definite lines in the face as such. You do get around the eyes and like around sort of teeth and things like that, you know. But the actual nose and the lips there is no actual lines started. It's all just done with different shades of just different colours, if you like.
So is it more of a suggestion then?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because like with the actual, say, that one that I've just done, all around the mouth. There was no outline of like a very faint outline in pink of where it needs to start and finish.
Yeah.
Of like say a mouth, but where it goes red to pink to sort of like a fleshy type colour, and then a rosy colour where she's really cold because it is a winter photo. They're all just on with just different colours. There's no actual lines taking one piece into the next, if you like. They're just laid over the top of each other over and again. A bit like doing pictures on, if you use an iPhone, if you're doing it on, say, like, digital work on computer,
Yeah.
you have to keep layering sort of like pixels over pixels until you've built them all up.
So how did you get into this then? So, I mean, did you do art at school? Did you find you had a flair for it then, or?
No, I think the reason why I started drawing it when I was little, I used to love just drawing. I used to just sit there, just see sort of pick birds outside in the garden. I just used to copy them when they was outside, and they probably didn't look that brilliant, but you could tell that it was like a robin or a blackbird type thing, and it kind of went from there because I found out it wasn't known when I was at school was things like word blindness and dyslexia. It was just not heard. You was just told you're being stupid and you're not listening, you're not trying, basically, at school. But I found that I could actually just draw and get the results I wanted, even as a child, and it just come naturally, I suppose. Really, it's just something I just taught myself, and if something didn't look right, I've just kept on messing about until I did get it to kind of look right. So I suppose it's like a replacement because I wasn't very good academically at doing all the rest of it. I just couldn't get it, Whereas I was always top of the class in this and sort of like hands on with all the rest of it, woodwork, metalwork, anything like that was great. Come down to the IT man like yourself, Aid, and it all went pear-shaped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and plus, it's a lot more enjoyable, mate, than doing doing bloody sort of all this theory stuff and sitting down in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with art classes at school.
Yeah.
I'm very much when I did draw, it was very much sort of a pen and pencil kind of thing, and I like to do kind of a scruffy sketch kind of thing, and that was kind of my style. And
yeah,
I understood at school that they like to teach you the different media, so you could use pastels, crayons, I don't know, clay, whatever they do, all that kind of thing. But I really struggled because I couldn't do what I naturally wanted to do. And it was like, right, okay, so we want you to do a project on, I don't know, Elizabethan architecture, and you're like, well, that's a great start already, isn't it? Because really, I've switched off already. But then a lot of the work was actually researching it and investigating it, and they had this. They wanted you to produce like this. I don't know if it's called a portfolio or something, but it was like a black folder, and you had to put in all your ideas and your thinking and your sketches and what you'd learned and the research and cuttings and all that kind of thing, and almost sort of create a story of what you're producing. And I just couldn't do that because it was just all in my head, and I just wanted to get on with it. All right, give me the paper, give me the pen, give me the materials, and just let me get on with it. But they'd be like saying, no, this week we want you to put down the materials that you're thinking of using. And you're like, oh, I'm just going to use my pencil, or I was just going to use this. Well, put that in your book. And I kind of get it to a degree because they want to understand what's going on in your head and how you came about this kind of thing. But at the same time, it really held me back, and I really didn't enjoy the lesson at all because it was just like, just let me crack on with it, and then maybe the teacher come round and say, have you thought of doing this, Aid? Have you thought of doing that? And I would have done better with that. So in art, for a subject that I loved, I ended up hating it by the end of school, and just produced any old crap just to get through. But actually, I'm okay with drawing. We're nowhere near as good as you, but I used to love it. But and I
that's a shame that is really, because I always think that really is there's so many different forms of art, and if someone's having a go at doing something different to how you're trying to show them, let them do it first and see what comes out.
Yes.
Before they write it off as that isn't how you've been taught, and that was my problem. That's why I fell out with the teachers when I come to the secondary school as it was called in them days. When I come to Stafford,
and
I sat there, had to do a drawing. he stuck this Roman's helmet on this table, and he said, right, now you're going to draw that, draw the circle for this bit, and an eye for that bit, and this for that, and doing that. And I thought, that's a bit weird. And I thought, no, I ain't doing that, because I couldn't do it like that.
Yeah.
So I just looked at the picture, or the helmet on the table there, and just sort of just kept looking at it, and just started making it up. And I just sort of doodled the pen sort of thing, and started off around where one of the eye openers were on this metal mask. And then just did that and did the leather bit on his nose and actually started building it. When he came round, he was actually telling me that, sound like, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm drawing the helmets on there. And he went, that isn't how I've shown you how to do it. He said, no, get another bit of paper and start again and do it the way I've told you, type of thing. I went, no, I ain't doing that. I said, I don't draw like that. He said, I'm the teacher. I will tell you how you learn, how you draw. If you want to learn to draw, this is how you will do it, type of thing. So I put the pencil on the desk and just folded my arms. I'm not going to do it. He said, if you're not going to take part, then I was sent outside on one of the lessons. You're not going to do the stuff. At the end of it, the lesson finished. It was just there on the little bit that I'd done. And then when I went home, I said, oh, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to that school again. I said, he told me I can't draw. I'm doing it all wrong. So and it came about that I said, can I take this in when I had art next time and take me pictures from home? When I took the pictures in from home and they actually looked at them, this same teacher looked at it and he said, whose are these, type of thing? That was his attitude. He just thought that my older brother had done them or someone else had done them. And I said, no, they're my pictures. And he said, you drawn all these? What, copied them? Have you chased them? And I said, no. I said, I've just drawn them from the pictures. And the pictures, what I'd drawn them from, was all different sizes. Nothing to do with the size that I'd drawn them at.
Yeah.
And there was all sorts of things in there, different pictures, battleships, the HMS Victory, all like detailed. And then there was animals and just all random things. After that, I went to the lesson and he just gave me the paper and he said, right, carry on doing the drawing. He just used to walk past me then and pretty much leave me to it.
Yeah.
And then when you actually see the picture I did at the end of it, he just said, well, you've obviously got a way of drawing, he said, that isn't the kind of norm, the way you're taught at school. So he said, if you can turn the work out like that, then I think he was just trying to not lose face really. And he said, well, I'll let you kind of do it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been a great opportunity there for him. He could have said, you know, that's really good what you're doing, and obviously this is the way you do it.
Yeah.
But he could have said things like, well, let me just show you a technique that you might want to use, and you'd be like, oh, you could try this type of shading, and you'd be considering where the light's coming from and perspective and stuff. And you would have been more receptive to that then, wouldn't you, really? Rather than saying, you've got to do it this way. And I'm sure Van Gogh somebody went up to Van Gogh and said, no, you've got to paint this way, you've got to paint that way. And when the Sistine Chapel was the ceiling was painted, they didn't go, actually, no, you know, that's not quite right. I think it was Da Vinci did the ceiling, wasn't it? But it was their technique, it was their style, but you could sort of enhance them, couldn't you? You could guide them and say, well, have you thought of trying this? Or no, that doesn't work for me. Okay, fair enough, you've had a go. But then try this and then try that. And then I just think they're a bit stifled at it might be just my lack of understanding, and in fairness, it's probably a very, very difficult subject to mark as well, because you could look at a piece of work and go, that looks absolutely fantastic, but there's absolutely no evidence of shading on there. There's no evidence of this or whatever. But you could look at the picture and go, that's flipping brilliant. So it's a very, very difficult subject to mark if you think about it, really.
It must be really, yeah.
Because
when I actually went in, I was pleased with it because I only had 3 months' work because I started the year quite late with us moving like to Stafford, and we started it pretty late in there. But when it actually went through, I actually come at the top on the, I don't know if it was either first or second in the whole year. And I only had 3 months' work to put in, what they marked it on. And so there was 2 or 3 of my pictures actually got put in the corridor, like pinned up on the board.
Oh, wow.
The figures that I'd done. Not things I'd was particularly keen on drawing, but there was things I had to do in the lessons. And they was all drawn my kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just how I've kind of carried on with it, really. I've never had any lessons at it. I just sort of do things, think, well, that isn't looking kind of right. You know, I might just try this, I might just try that. And even to this day, if someone said to me, well, how would you get that shade to do that? What colour do you put on first to make it? I think, I use that pen there, that pencil, that pen, that one. As I said, what colours? I ain't got a clue.
Yeah.
No,
I can't remember which colours I'd used. If I'm doing something and it's right, I just leave them on the desk.
Do you know what? It
And I
sounds a
won't
bit
put them
like when you're
away.
trying to tell someone how to drive a car, because it's just something you do
Yeah,
instinctively, but then you get in the car and you think, right, okay, so I get in, and then I put my clutch pedal down and I put it into, oh no, I've started off. And it's
yeah,
something you do naturally that you don't think twice
yeah,
about, but when you're trying to explain it to someone, but you just have a
yeah,
feeling, you must just think, oh, right, so that colour looks like that, so I'll probably start with that. That works about right, and then I'll add a bit
yeah,
more of that in, and you just kind of you've just got a natural ability just to find that colour, I suppose.
yeah. It's nice to do, I must admit. And
Mm.
I only started doing this after my illness with the coloured pictures, once after a couple of years of being bad, because I could like sit down and concentrate properly then.
Yeah.
But I've only ever done sketch pictures before. So I've only been doing any colour portraits for the last sort of like, I don't know, year or so, just over a year.
Oh.
And I bet I haven't even got more than 20 left here. I've done quite a few for people.
Mm.
But most of them I've got copies of, and I've just kept them. And I bought myself a decent scanner now, so I can scan up to sort of A3, some really big sizes,
Yeah.
and then I can just keep it on the laptop. Because when it scans them, it keeps them in its original sort of format, because they're just scanned and put straight on the laptop. It doesn't have to shrink anything when it goes over, so they actually look like the originals. Whereas the photos you take with my phone, what I stick online, if you zoom in, you think, "Oh, that don't look very good" when you get close, because it just doesn't. It's nothing like the original. But you won't. I don't know. You've probably heard when people go to like an art gallery, and sometimes they'll actually even put like a marker on the floor as a viewing marker, different distances from a picture
Okay.
of the best distance to actually view it. And they were like, you don't stand sort of 2 foot away from a painting sort of looking at it, you move away from it. And then the
Yes.
painting kind of alters. And this drawing's a bit like that. I can walk into the room and then when you stand up looking at it, and it's just like the first glance without studying it, you think, oh, it could be a photo on the
Yeah.
easel, ready to be drawn. And it's only when you really detail it and get close and you think, oh, it is like a pencil, which it should never be on. I don't think it should ever be 100% just like the original. And so many people, when you see them online, I don't want to be getting into this way of you've got to do it in that step kind of drawings, the way everybody does it, because that means that it could be just one of anybody's pictures.
Yeah.
I think if you do it in your own kind of style, like you was doing, like your sketches, there's been artists that have actually become famous, and that is all they draw like. Or
Yes.
paint and pick a brush up and they do exactly the same. And their pictures are absolutely brilliant. They don't have to be coloured images of perfect images or
No.
photo drawing what they do. So, this looks like a photo. If it looks like a photo, go and take a photo. I don't want it to look like a photo. I want it to look real,
Yeah.
but not like a photo.
Yes.
And that's my argument, really. So it's
No,
some people might
I'm with
not
you,
agree
Darren.
with it. Some people might not agree. They might think, well, if you can draw it so it looks like looks like a photo, then it looks even more real, doesn't it? No, it just looks like a photo, like it's been done. You've enhanced it, 3D enhancement. You took a picture or you scanned it, you slapped it on your computer, and you've done the rest with the computer added.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the original drawing, and that's what makes it unique, isn't it? Because it's been done by hand.
And it's your style. It's your.
Yeah, so I think it is. Yeah, and that's how they seem to be. They don't seem to sort of get any different. Every picture I do, most of them about halfway through, I think, oh, this just isn't working out. This isn't, and then all of a sudden there's like a turning point, and you think, yes, it's coming together now, and it's lovely to watch it. Like from my point of view, I just sit there staring at something, and you've got these eyes constantly looking back at you. It's a bit strange sometimes. You actually think you really know that person, It's just such a weird feeling.
What about you, Andy? Are you a bit of a dab hand with the old paintbrush or pen,
Oh,
pencil?
I'm terrible at drawing. Yeah, I've never been a good drawer at all. I'm doing little sketches now, but nothing.
Oh, what you do? Are you doing like 3D cubes? I tend to do 3D
Yeah,
cubes when I'm.
I'm doing cubes and circles to see
Yeah.
what it looks like when I'm finished.
See,
That's how I work. I draw like a thing, like, wow, that looks just like what I wanted to look like, but it doesn't.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing, isn't it, as well? You've got an idea in your head what you want it to look like, but your hands won't produce that. It gets lost travelling down your arm, doesn't it? Like your brain's like saying, do this, do that, and then your hand goes, nah, I'm going to do it this way. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's a patient thing and it's time, isn't it? Because if you think it's going to turn, sometimes you're doing something and you think that looks crap, and then after you've spent a few more hours on it and you've come away from it and gone back to it a few times, you think, oh, now it's really sort of taking what I want it to take on. It's getting there in bits, you know.
Yeah.
And it does take time. I mean, just looking on the back of this, I've signed the front of it, and the back of this card, 28 hours that picture took.
Wow. Okay.
So it's quite a lot of time, and you're sort of slowly getting bit by bit, you know. And that seems about average. That does about sort of 2.5, 3 days, that sort of thing, to do a picture like that. If it was just to portrait the face, and it shadowed off just below the shoulders, then it wouldn't sort of so long because you wouldn't have had the coat and the fleece, the body warmer fleece and that sort of stuff, you know.
So how long do you normally spend a night doing these photos? You spend a couple of hours or an hour or see how it goes?
Yeah, because it's normally sort of timed when the soaps come on, if I'm honest, Andrew. So when the soaps come on, like your Corras and your Emmerdales and that, either sort of 7, half 7, I'm like, right, I'll see you in about an hour, Jack. And I stay up here till sort of 9 o'clock. And that 2 hours is my kind of chill out time, really.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, so, I'll sit down here and relax and watch the telly. I mean, I'm looking at something I don't want to be, I'm looking at it, but it's not going in. You know? Because I've got no interest in them. No interest in them at all. It's just fictional. I can't be done with it. And I say, and you get enough drama in your own life, don't you?
You do, yeah.
Without watching, like, pretend villages all going on and all this malarkey, but everyone to their own, mate. My wife likes it. She loves them. She knows. That's that's her relaxing time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, well, she's sitting downstairs. I'm not sitting together, but what you don't want to, I wouldn't expect her to sit here and watch me drawing. You know?
No.
You sit there and look at your phone while I'm drawing. We can sit together and do the drawing. I mean, it's the same thing, isn't it, really? No, I like it up here, mate. No radio, no telly, no nothing. Just silence.
Yeah.
And just this, and it works.
Great stuff.
Definitely does. Looking at that picture.
Yeah, isn't it? They're slowly overtaking the house, so if I'm not careful, they're travelling up the stairs on the landing. I've got 4 up there. I've got 2 more to go on up there. Yeah, that's my big cat wall. That is all lions and tigers and things. That one.
Right, gentlemen.
Yes, mate.
That's
enough on that subject.
That's enough of that crap. Yeah.
Hey,
that's really interesting. That was, Darren.
Thank you. Talking about things you always call crap. The Morrissey towel.
Morrissey towel.
There is one just sold, right, at auction last week, sat at the Southwest Vehicle Auction.
Yeah.
And it sold, right, get this, it was either just under or just over £4,000. It was tidy, but it's never been rebuilt.
Oh,
it was nice.
Is that
it was nice, but not been rebuilt.
Is that a 2-door or 4-door?
It was a 4-door, and it was orange like I used to drive.
Oh, wow.
And when I first saw it, the estimate for the auction, I think it was between, was it 1,000 and 1,500 or something like that? And I thought, yes, I might just buy that for you for this year, I love it. Just to turn up at Age House. Yeah. And then it went to like $2,000, $3,000. I thought, no way. It's just...
Is it the Southwest
Vehicle Auction? Yeah.
I've got a picture of it here.
1.3.
It doesn't 1.3.
1.3, yeah, 1.3. But you try going up a hill in Wales in one of them, even at 1.3 for a car that heavy.
God, it is tidy though, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
Wow.
That's nice, isn't it? Eh?
It wasn't the word I was thinking of. It's tidy, I'll give you that. But it's, oh well, 1.3.
What a price, though. I didn't think it'd ever get anywhere near that.
No, 44,000 miles. It comes with a spare gearbox.
Why? Why has it got a spare gearbox?
Why would you need a spare gearbox? Yeah, that tells you a lot about it, really, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh my God, they got a YouTube video of it as well. Wow. Wow. Well, I think that's one for another time. I think that's too much excitement for one evening, that, isn't it? Yeah, because we had some homework last week.
Yeah.
I had a couple of pieces of homework, and I think you had a piece of homework as well, Andy.
Did I?
You did, yeah. I made a note.
Did he?
He did have some homework to do because he was going to have a look at the what tractor it was on Car SOS.
Oh, I didn't do it.
No, you didn't, did you?
Oh,
Deary
Andrew.
me! I tell you what, I've done your homework for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
go
that's
on
all
then.
right. Yeah, I'll do it all. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So on the IMDb website on Series 8, Episode 4, they did a Ferguson TE20 tractor.
Yeah, and it was grey as well, wasn't it?
It was grey, yeah. What was yours, Andy?
Yeah.
Mine's a TED.
What's the
TE.
difference? Any idea? Is that
They just
petrol and diesel? I don't know.
mine was TVO. They did TED. They've done 5 or 6 different ones.
Right.
So you've just got to. I mean, mine's TED. I don't know why it's just TED. It says it on the logbook.
Right. Okay.
TED 20. But yeah, they do a couple of other ones as well, diesel ones. They do a petrol.
Yeah.
Petrol TVO. And they do 2 diesels, I think. So there's 4, isn't there? I think there's 4. I'm probably wrong. They probably did 6, but that's just from what I can remember. It's going back a while when I did mine. But yeah, mine's TED 20.
Yeah.
Was it a diesel one then?
It doesn't really say. It just looks grey and it looks like a tractor, so that's about as far as I go.
Oh, come on, Age. You can tell the difference between a diesel tractor and a petrol tractor. The fuel pump, it'll be...
Bloody hell. Well, I'm going to know where the sodding fuel pump is.
You know what fuel...
Yeah, I know what it looks like. I'm going to know where it is, am I?
Yeah, well, the petrol one, you oh. The diesel ones are bigger. They're a lot bigger tractor than they are the petrol ones.
Well, this one's parked outside Superdrug, so I can't really...
Yeah, it was given. They did the reveal for that in a shopping centre, didn't they?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can see a picture of it now. Yeah, another one's up. It's got big wheels at the back and small at the front, so it looks very much like a tractor.
Let me have a quick look on Google.
With a metal seat with holes in it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, it's got the
So
holes in it.
Yeah. Yeah. When it rained, all the water wouldn't puddle away your legs.
Yeah. It's
Let me just look on images.
It's technology, eh?
Yeah, it just looks like a tractor, but there you go.
Yeah, it's a diesel, that is.
How can you tell it's a diesel?
You can see the fuel pump on it. It's got brass bits coming out of it. So you've got
just under the steering wheel.
You've got a distributor cap on a petrol one with spark plug leads. That you've got diesel pipes coming out of the filter.
Oh, so it's just metal rails going. Yeah.
There you go.
God, it looks dead smart.
It's nice, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, it did make a good job.
Just looks like a tractor, though, doesn't it? Really.
It's just a lot bigger under the engine than mine.
Ah, right, I'm with you.
Yeah. But, they didn't even paint the wheel nuts. Look, the brass.
Oh, dear me, Andy, you should have a word, mate.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I did your homework there, so you can thank me for that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can give me your dinner money.
Yeah. Is that how it works, Aid?
It does, yeah. As you're getting a wedgie.
Oh God.
And I had 2 pieces of homework. The first one was the Boris Johnson thing, where I said he'd been a motor journalist.
Yeah, and me and Darren were like, no.
Yeah. Well, actually, Boris Johnson is the UK's first ex-motoring journalist prime minister. He used he used to write a column for men's magazine GQ. He also expressed an interest in presenting Top Gear after Clarkson punched a producer. So so there's a picture here of Boris Johnson, and actually that looks like God, what's his name? Piers Morgan as well. Yeah. So Boris was a car journalist. And actually the title of the article is, I hope Boris makes a better PM than he did as a car writer.
So they're pretty crap then, really, doing both.
Yeah, he was really, wasn't he? Yeah, both were car crashes, really, weren't they? So, we're going a bit political there, gents. We better rein that in a bit. Oof.
Yeah, better do. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So I don't do politics.
Yeah, obviously, other political parties are available.
That's it.
And the other one was this nonsense about beer glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not
Well, I
nonsense, is
just
it?
It's not what?
No, it's not. I mean, I'm just scrolling down the list here. You've got American pint glasses, Imperial pint glasses, Pilsner glasses, tulip glasses, thistle glasses, goblet chalice glasses, IPA glasses, stout glasses, Weizen glasses, Stange glasses. Is that right? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Teku stemmed beer glasses, beer mugs, glass beer boots. I mean,
Yeah.
I just thought they were just glasses with just the company's brand on it. I didn't think they were. I didn't think that if you had to have your pilsner in a particular glass and that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Does that mean I don't have to give you my pocket money then, me dinner money?
I'll
Because you
still
were
have your
wrong
pocket
as
money, but you're not getting a wedgie.
well.
oh, yeah.
So yeah, I take it all back. Yeah, but me not drinking, I haven't got a clue. But yeah, it's not just sticking branding on a glass. Apparently, you have to have certain shapes and stuff.
Get
So
in. See, we told you, didn't we?
you did tell me. So you didn't believe me, and I didn't believe you, Per. So we're kind of even, really, aren't we?
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we'll call that one a draw then, shall we?
yeah, we'll call
Yeah.
it a draw. That's it. So,
Yeah.
but I did do your homework, Andy. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. So,
He likes
Andy.
to keep getting that bit in, doesn't he?
Yeah, keep doing your homework, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, how did you get on, Andy? Because last week your blood count was a bit low.
Yeah, it was.
Are you back up to speed now, and are you on the drugs?
So I went to the hospital today for a blood test.
Yeah.
My dad took me like normal.
Mm-hmm.
I got in there and I picked up my blood card and I was number 19. I was like, normally in here for 10 minutes. No, picked up, I was number 31. I waited for the nurse to come in, she said number 19. I was like, oh, I'm going to be here a long time, waiting for her to get through all these people. So I sat there for an hour. I got through after an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, so Wednesday my oncologist is going to ring me and tell me if I'm going to be okay to start my chemo on Wednesday.
Right.
So I'm going to ask her this time, because obviously I'm on 4 tablets each night. So I'm going to ask her, is it all right for me to do 4 tablets each night and go 5 weeks instead of doing 3 tablets a night and doing it every 4 weeks? I'll ask her which one she thinks is better. Because obviously if I'm doing a week extra, it's going to be a lot longer than a year, isn't it? It's going to be a year and 12 weeks.
Oh, I see. So you're trying to sort of speed it up a bit, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but I'll ask her. I don't know. I'll ask her a medical opinion on what's the best thing to do: go an extra week or cut down a week.
Yeah.
I'll see what she says on Wednesday.
Okay. Well,
because my normal oncologist, she's on maternity leave, so she's not my normal one.
Yeah.
She's a step-in one.
Right. Yeah.
So, I'll ask her, see what she says.
Okay. Well, keep us posted, mate, and
Well.
we'll get an update from you next week. But obviously, you can let us know on our chat.
So it should be on next week. No, so it'll be finished on Sunday, so it'll be the day after, won't it, on the next podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully I'll be on them next week. I'll let you know. I'll send you a message.
Cool.
Yeah, do that, mate. Keep us informed.
I had a bit of a drama when I went to the hospital last, which was about 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know if you noticed, but when I picked you up for the car show, did you notice one of the windows was damaged in my car?
No.
No, I didn't notice it. Well, we went to the hospital 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I went with Amy. She was having a catch up with her consultant, so we went in and spoke to the consultant, and he says, "Oh, while you're here, I'd really like to do an X-ray or a scan. If I can get you in, do you mind hanging around?" Which normally you have to wait weeks and months for scans. And he said, "Well, I'll go." And we walked down to the scan area, room, whatever, and spoke to the scan person. And they said, "Oh yeah, we'll get you in a bit. We'll get you in for a scan." So we thought, "All right, then, okay, that's great." And then he said, "When I've got the results, we'll catch up in a bit, and then I'll walk through the results with you." Which is like, this is mega. This is brilliant. It's happening so quick. This is fantastic. So we sat there for a bit, and then Amy went in for a scan and came out. And he said, "Oh, it might take me a while to write up the report here for your consultant. So it might take an hour. So why don't you go and have a break for a bit?" And I said, "Well, I'll nip into town because the town was nearby. I'll walk into town. I'll grab something to eat. We'll have a bit of lunch, and then when the consultant calls us back in, we'll be sorted." So I left
Yeah.
Amy in the hospital, and I wandered off into town. And I found a Greg's and grabbed some sausage rolls and all that kind of thing. And thinking, "Oh, good on you, Aid. Go and get that stuff." And I walked back to the car, and I think, do you know what? I better just put an extra hour on the parking because it's going to run out soon. So yeah, so I opened up the car and I chucked the Greg's sausage rolls on the back seat, and the parking machine was right next to the car. So I thought, all right, that's fine. And I walked to the machine, and then I heard the door shut on the car. And I went, oh, the door's shut. That's fine. I've got my keys. I haven't got my keys. My keys.
Oh
I
no.
took the keys out of my pocket and put them on the back seat of the car, and then the door just swung and shut. But as soon as the door shut, all the central locking went off. Now I don't know if that's something that's a safety feature or something like that, but it's the second time it's done it to me that I've left my keys in the car and the doors have shut and then it's central locked. I don't know if you've ever heard of anything like that, or whether it's some sort of dodgy connection I've got on it, or whatever.
It's something dodgy on it, mate. I've got it on the L200.
Yeah.
My workshop, Mitsubishi. Yeah, it does it all the time. Well, sometimes on there, and I'm fighting with it. I'm trying to get in. I'm holding the button on the inside door, and it's just going bang, 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 back and forwards.
But it just shut the door, and all the central locking, and I went, oh, bloody hell! It's happened once before at a petrol station where I was at Asda petrol station. I had to ring Amy to come out of work with the spare key and get me off the forecourt. But it happened again in the car park, and I thought, oh, bloody hell! So I did I went wandering around the outskirts of the car park, looking under the hedges and bushes, see if I could find a bit of timber or something like that. Because it's an old car, I don't care about it. So I thought, if I can prise the door open a little bit, and then I'll see if I can get a long branch in, and I'll try and hook the keys.
Yeah.
So, all this amount of people that just walk past me, and I'm trying to break into this car, and nobody said a word. I've got big bloody branches sticking in the car, but because this time of year they're all weak and flimsy, so every time I put it in, it snaps. I got it prized open a little bit, and I'm trying to thread it in, and then I knock the keys off onto the floor. And I was like, oh, for God's sake! And I rang my mate John if he'd come and if he'd got any ideas. Sometimes when you're in that moment, your brain doesn't think logically, and you sort of think, oh, or whatever. And I'm just thinking, I wonder if there's something silly I could do or whatever, and it would just make it work. And I was just like, oh, bloody hell. And then I was trying to ring Amy, and I couldn't get a signal, so I couldn't tell her I was running late for the hospital and stuff. And the sausage rolls were just staring at me on the back seat. And I was just, oh.
You know what? I've just got this image of John Cleese with a branch trying to get into your car.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's standing there whipping the car with a big branch.
Yeah, and if anybody's seen the film Clockwise as well, when he loses it with cars.
Yeah,
as well. It was very much one of those moments. I was just, oh. And in the end, I went and got a stone. I got a good sized stone, and I just put through the rear quarter window through. I was went bang, put it through, put my arm through it, opened up the door. It was just because I thought that's probably the cheapest panel to replace, and sure enough, you can get it for about £10 off eBay. So I've got to fit into the window. So yeah, there's all black tape on there at the moment. But it was just and it's therapeutic smashing a window.
Do you know what, Aid? I had the same thing. I had a Defender before I got diagnosed with my third brain tumour.
Yeah.
And I always used to jump out, lock the door, put my finger on the lock the door and shut it. And it's locked, man. You don't have to put the key in it and lock it manually.
Yeah.
Because they're old and you don't have to worry about them locking themselves. So I went to NatWest because Kelly works at NatWest. And I'm allowed to park on there rather than paying for car park. So I thought I'd swing in here after work because I need to go and get something from Wilco's. It's like a 10-minute walk from the bank. So I pulled up. There's 5 different cars in there. I thought, I'm all right for parking in the middle here because I'll be back in a minute. So I jumped out, locked the door, stood away. I'm like, oh my God, the keys are in ignition. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, I've got to get in because there's 5 different cars here and they're finishing half an hour. I'm like, oh. So I'm looking around. I've found this piece of sandstone. Thought I'm going to break a window here.
Yeah.
And like I say, I'm trying to smash the bloody window, but it won't break. It's like, oh, I don't know. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I rang my dad, and he was like, it's all right. I'll bring a key, because he said any key will work in them locks. I said, it won't. You got to have a proper key for it. I said, no, I'll bring me van key down. Pulled up, put his van key in, and opened it. I was like,
Brilliant.
oh, get in. So I just went home. I'm like, I'm not doing that again. I just didn't even go to Wilco's. It's like up to the day where I sold it, you can see a mark on the window where I hit it with a sandstone, try and break the window.
Oh, my window went through dead easy. I was really surprised. I was really expecting a real challenge, and I'd got a rough edge on this stuff, and it just took it straight away, went straight through, and the glass nearly went on my sausage roll. So I was quite lucky that it got
That
away.
would be good. Yeah.
No, and then
Good.
so then
Make sure you get the keys.
so there I am. I've got my arm in the door, through the hole, opening the door, and Amy starts walking down towards the car park. So she's already been and seen the consultant. That's already sorted. And then all she just sees me is me breaking into our own car. And she just goes, "Oh, what have you done?" It's just like, "Oh, just don't." No, I was just expecting to get glass in my sausage roll, but there wasn't, so I was all right with that. So it wasn't quite so bad. But yeah, it was just just things like that. It's just like really, 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 really frustrating when you've just got enough on your mind, and then things like that happen. I've just had a hell of a shitty 6 weeks, to be honest. But as Gloria again has said, I will survive. So yeah, I thought you might have noticed all the black tape on the rear window, but obviously I've done a
No, I never noticed it, to be honest with you. No.
Was it in the side that I sat in or not?
I think it was as well, Andy. Yeah, near side rear. Yeah.
Oh, there you go then. So it's your fault for not spotting it, Andy.
Yeah, attention to detail, Andy.
Yeah,
Got to
normally.
be off, mate. I'm sat in the front.
You think you'd hear the noise of the air, wouldn't you? Driving along.
It was a quality tape job. That's what it was. That's why you didn't notice it. But that's the brilliant thing when you've got an old car that you don't care about. They just seem to keep going, and I'm just patching it up until its MOT runs out, and then it'll go to the big
the Sky.
The car.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
But it really is such a great feeling to think that you just don't care about it, because when you've got a really, really nice car, you're constantly thinking, I don't want to scratch it, it's got a chip on the paintwork,
that's it. No,
something's wrong with it. But when you've got an old car, I don't know what it is. It seems to be sometimes the less you like a car, the more reliable it becomes. I don't know if you ever have that same feeling. If you have a car that you particularly love and you care for, you're constantly having problems with it. Whereas if it's a car that you're just not really bothered about, they just seem to know their place, and they go, yeah, I'll just keep ticking over. If you want to give me some more at some point, that would be great. But otherwise, don't worry about it. I'll just keep going. You're like, oh, all right, fine.
Yeah.
If you want
I often think that about the pickups, really.
Yeah.
I don't know bother mine. It's got marks. It's got knocks in the back of it. This, that, and the other. And I just get in it and just if I'm not using the other one, I need to get something big in the back of it. I just drop it down. It's got like a plastic thing in the back to protect the back of it, and I just chuck all sorts of crap in it, and it just gets pulled out. It gets ragged about a bit. I take it here, there, and everywhere. I'm not really bothered about it. And I pulled up yesterday alongside like a newer version of it, and even because mine's got like the box on the back of it as well, like with the back opening door, the two swing doors on it. And I pulled up behind this new one with this fancy box, and it was really sort of shaped and all moulded to like a little pointy thing at the back. And I thought, look at the room space, look at how storage space is lost in the back of that. And it was like, had all these little extras on it, these little bits around the mouldings and the plastic chrome bits on it. And I thought, how can you really use that for what it's designed for? Because you really wouldn't want to put anything in it that's going to affect it or mark it. Yeah. It was too nice to be a workshop, really. And I thought, well, it's never going to be a workshop, is it? Not really.
No.
Whereas like mine, it's just, if you want something there, just chuck a load of bricks in the back of it, and if it gets knocked. And I was like my dad's the other week, and he went, have you got a dent in the back of your door? I said, yeah, I have to reverse on the drive down. I've got the wheelie bin out ready to put out for the bin man in the morning, so it hit the back door and it dented it.
And that's
it's
it.
Like, oh, bloody hell, that's the problem, isn't it? I went, no, not really.
Not really.
I'll just take the plastic panel off the inside one of these days and I warm it up and just push out what I can.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, is it? It's got knocks and little dents all over the bloody thing, you know.
That's what they're made for, aren't they?
Yes, it's a work truck, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, it gets a bit used and abused, but it starts up and all that. You know, all I've got to do is that central locking. That's more frustrating than anything. Because one of these days I am going to get locked out again. I did do it once. It was down locally near the town, but I was quite lucky there because I managed to phone my oldest son up, who was off work that day because he was on his doing a different. She'd been doing some nights, I think it was. I said, "You're not at home by the chance, my car?" You said, "Yeah." I said, "You couldn't go back to my house, could you? He's got a key here." I told him where the spare key was and fetch it down to me at town, could you? Which I forgot. I said, "I'm locked outside my truck." I shut and I could see my keys on the seat, and I'm like, "Oh, you idiot!" And as soon as you shut the door, you just hear click, click, click. Oh, that's it. I ain't getting in there.
So we're talking about cars that get used and abused, and now we go completely the other side of things, because you put a rather arty photo, didn't you? You sent it to me to put on Instagram. Be quite an arty photo of your Rover, that was, Darren.
Yes, very
Oh,
nice.
you know what, mate? I was just messing around with my phone on the camera because I looked at the camera and then all of a sudden I just got all these different little numbers and things about what you could do, and I thought, what the bloody hell do all
the
these
filters.
supposed to mean? Yeah, all different things coming out. I thought, well, you've got to be really into your photography surely to know what all them are.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd just have a little mess about. So I sat in the garage on my thinking chair. I've got like a little stool thing. It's like a little step ladder it can fold out to. And it's my thinking chair, and I'm working out there. I just sort of sit on that, have a brew. And I thought, I'll have a little mess around with my camera. So I just started snapping random pictures of it with different filters and things on. I thought, I quite like that effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good. You got a good eye for it, really. It looked. It looked quite.
Come off right, innit? It's
Yeah,
just the corner of it, like. I won't show too much of it on the car. Just take that. I was just taking little corner pics of it, like, yeah.
Were you tinkering on the car as well, or were you just taking pictures?
I wasn't that. Yeah, I managed to get some. There was like under when you lift the bonnet up, there was a few little rubber, little grummety bits, and there's different rubber covers that go down and sit on like the top of the radiator. A couple of them sit on the top of the headlights at the top when you close the bonnet down, and there was a cap missing on it, which it's got two little lights inside the bonnet that come on. It has to push on this little button to sort of turn it on and off. When you lift the bonnet up, the two little lights come on, just in case you happen to break down in an 80s car, which is
that's never going to happen. Sure,
that's never going to happen, is it, mate? So yeah, I've just been tinkering, putting them little bits in. Got some old car mats that I got up in the loft, which I bought years and years ago, and I've tidied out in the garage loft and found them. So just tapping about really, little odds and sods on it,
Oh, fair play.
Yeah.
Any tinkering from you, Andy? You've been.
Oh yeah, I've done a few tinkering bits. I've put my manifold on with my turbo and my boost pipes. I'm just working on the oil return pipe now. I need to design a pipe that goes round like a right-hand corner without like bending. So I need one with wire in it, I think.
So how do you go about that? Do you have like those plastic things like they make exhausts with, or do you just get a rough idea and then take it somewhere and say, have you got a pipe that will do this?
So it's got a bit at the bottom of the sump that's got an outlet, and it's got a bit on the bottom of the turbo that's got an outlet.
Yeah.
I just need, the pipe that was on it before. It started leaking a little bit, so I need to buy another pipe for it. My dad made it me. I don't know where he got the pipe from, but as long as it's got wire in it, so it'll bend. I need one that bends to the right,
Yeah,
but without creasing.
Yeah.
So it needs to be one that's already got wire in it, so it'll bend, but it's quite a tight bend. So I need to probably have a good look on eBay, see if I can find any bits of pipe that'll fit it.
Yeah. So it's not the sort of somebody would have made a similar piece for that kind of conversion, and it's a bit of a one-off. Yours, is it? Or?
You can buy ones that are made for it with the pipe that goes on it, but I just want to make it. It's different because depending what size turbo you've got, It's depending how far it needs to go.
Right. Okay.
So
Right, yeah.
it's probably only about 2 inches long, the pipe I need. So I won't need to spend a lot of money on it. I just need to get the right size. I did buy some, but it just started to kink a little bit on the bend. So I need to buy another one, I think, that's got a bit more wire in it so it doesn't kink at all.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it kinking and blowing smoke out the back, do you?
No, it reminds me of an incident. I had a mate of mine. His brother had a Escort RS Turbo Phase 2.
Yeah.
We went out for a drive in it once, and he's giving it the beans, and it's like whoosh, whoosh, making all that lovely noises and stuff. And he goes to overtake this one car, and we're sort of alongside this other car, and then the car just dies, just completely dies, and he was just like, "What?" He just goes, "Oh, turbo pipe's gone again," and he just casually braked and just pulled back in behind the car we were overtaking. Cars coming towards us, and it was
Yeah.
just like, what? And he was just so calm about it. Oh, turbo pipe's gone again. I'm
Yeah.
just like, bloody hell, we're going to die. We're going to die. And he's just like, oh, never mind, pulled over. So I suppose that's what it is. The pipe collapses, I suppose, doesn't it? And then that loses that feed of air going to it. So it starves it, I suppose.
Yeah. But obviously it's a return pipe, so it's getting rid of the oil out of the... You have an
Oh,
you have
okay.
an oil pipe going in,
Yeah.
and this just gets rid of the oil out the turbo. So it'll just burn the oil. It won't get rid of it out there, out of the return pipe.
So why do you have oil in a turbo? Is that just to lubricate it then?
Just to lubricate the spindle in the middle, because
Right.
obviously
Okay.
it spins so fast, doesn't it? On an RS turbo, you have a water pipe and an oil return pipe. So you have cold water that runs through it,
Yeah.
through the coolant system, and then you have an oil return pipe as well. But mine hasn't got any coolant like that on it, and a water coolant, because obviously the turbo gets really warm, and it obviously absorbs the water in them. I don't know how they work on the RS turbos, but no, on mine it's not got water going to it. It's just got oil going to it to keep the spindle nice and smooth.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I
So
did.
that's what I'm working on now.
Oh, good man. I put the headliner in mine. A mate of mine
Oh,
retrimmed it for me. So I put
was
the
it hard to do a headliner? Did you do it
well,
on your own?
yeah, I did it on my own. It's what I did was I left the C pillar trim panels in. So when I slid it in through the boot, I
Yeah.
rested it on top of those panels, and then fitted the A pillar posts. So it was then kind of, if you know what I mean, it's then supporting itself.
Yeah.
And then you just go round and you just screw in all the grab handles and put in the plugs that hold it up and stuff. It looks a bit like a sort of a fiberglass kind of material, and I got my mate to cover it for me. Got some nice material, so I put that in. So I put that back in. I've just got to do the B pillar posts, but I can't do those at the moment because you've got to undo the seat belt to thread it through, and the seat belt attaches to the seat, so I've got to undo that a bit. But that's fine. And then that'll be the interior pretty much done.
That's great.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it, just to do those little jobs, and they all slowly start to come together, and it looks a bit more like a car on the inside now, rather than just
Yeah,
a
that's
parts
it.
store, if you like.
Yeah.
So so I was quite pleased to get that done, and that's what I've decided to do. I'll just do a couple of hours here and there rather than trying to do big jobs, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
they kind of add up, then, don't they? Really, and
Oh, they do, mate. I was saying that to someone the other week. If you come home, because I'm still doing that sort of alteration out the back and this utility room at the back of our house. And I think if you just go out there when you finish work, come home and get changed straight away and just sort of drop straight out there, you've only got to be out there for like between 1 and 2 hours. And if you do that over the week, even if you just do it Monday to Thursday, you've actually end up doing like 8 hours out there. It's a
yeah,
whole day's work, isn't it?
it
Yeah.
is.
So if you just do them, but you think, oh, I've only got that little bit done. But then when you add it on to the next 3 days, you think, yeah, I've been out here for 8 hours this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got all that done now. I can move on to there now, and it's amazing how fast it comes along. Where a lot of people tend to think, oh, it's not worth going out there. I've only got a bloody hour to do out there. But you just do that hour every day.
Yeah, it becomes less of a chore as well, doesn't it? Because I
Oh,
tend to find if you do
definitely, yeah.
something and you've
Yeah.
got to a certain point, you think, oh, I've done quite well there. I'll call it a day now, because
Yeah.
if I keep going, I'm probably going to be doing stuff that I'm just going to get frustrated with, and I'll just
Yeah.
I'll quit while I'm ahead. I've done a couple of hours. I'm great. I'm going to enjoy the rest of
Yeah.
the day. And I certainly find that a lot better than just saying, right, today I've got to get this done, I've got to get this done, and they're going to get this done. I think we spoke last week, even one day for a couple of hours, I was just sorting out all the bits and the nuts and bolts and the parts, just that, getting them ready for when I needed to refit them. Have I got all the parts for that? Have I got all the bits for that? And that kind of thing. And that was quite therapeutic. Well, therapeutic is probably not the right word, but you feel more mentally prepared for it. Then you go, all right, I can crack on with that now. When I do that next time, I know the stuff's there. And
that's it. It's all part of the job, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there sometimes can be a real rush to get it done and stuff, but you just take your time, little and often. I tend to find seems to work for me, rather than just
definitely, mate.
cram everything into one day.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Well, gents, we've pretty much come to the end of today's call.
I know that's flown now.
That has absolutely flown. It really has. Nice to have a bit of good old chinwag there.
Yeah.
Just before we finish, I'm going to try and catch up with a couple of people we've reached out to, see if we can get some dates and times for a couple of people to join us, some guests. I'm going to try and get a bit of information about my nephew as well, because he's doing a charity boxing match. Which we're sponsoring.
Oh yeah, you mentioned something about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I forgot to ask him. But what I'll do is I'll ask him, even if he wants to join us for a little bit and just tell us a little bit about it. Might be nice just to plug that. See if we can get a couple of other guests on. But yeah, other than that, I think we're done. I've done quite well. I don't think I've got any homework out of this week's episode.
There's no homework to do.
No homework. No. No homework.
Oh, you'll be safe this week, then, Andrew, won't you?
Well, yeah. Get away with a wedgie next week, won't I?
But what I can do is we can leave on a fact that I found out of I've bought a couple of books. A friend of mine, Phil, he bought me a couple of books on boring car trivia. I don't know if you've ever heard of the series. And I found a fact about the Rover SD1, which you'll probably know, Darren.
Yeah.
So I shall leave you with this. The original SD1, launched in 1976, had a symmetrical dashboard, theoretically making it cheaper and easier to buy left and right-hand versions. The instruments were in a separate box that sat on top of the main dashboarding on the driver's side, and the redundant hole for the steering column on the passenger side was filled with an air vent. Yeah. I did not know that, but interesting facts. Apparently, there's nothing interesting about Novas. I've certainly found nothing. Well, we all knew that anyway, but I mean, I've had a quick skim through the book and couldn't find anything interesting about those. But I did look for you, Andy.
He is very anti-Vauxhall, isn't he?
He doesn't like Vauxhalls, do you, Aid?
I used to be an Opel man. I used to have the Manta. Did I tell you I used to have a Manta, Darren? Did I mention that at all?
Yeah, you did.
You might have mentioned it once or twice, mate.
Yeah. So I suppose I was General Motors for a while. I did love the Manta, but then I just went forward for some reason, and I've just never gone back. So that I just thought, if I do find any facts about Novas, I shall let you know. If anybody's listening and they still like this crap, please like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. We'll catch up at the same time again. These normally go out about 8 o'clock on Tuesday evening, and we've got an email address, which is carsandcancer@gmail.com. So if you want to send us a message, ask us anything, or tell us something that you'd like to talk about, let us know. Give us some feedback, whatever. But other than that, we shall be here same time next week. Anything you want to say, gents?
No, that just flew by.
No.
Yeah, cracking.
Oh, have a think about the Stony Park.
Yes.
The end of the month. If everything's okay with everybody, I'm up for having a day there. If you two can make it.
Yeah, that's the rally day, isn't it?
Yeah.
6th of Feb.
Yeah, it's on it's a 3-day event, isn't it? If we can pick one day out of that. The 26th is a Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll see if I can have the 26th off. I'll check with Cows.
Is that Sunday? Sunday, did we say?
That's
Sorry.
the Sunday, mate, that is,
I switched off for a bit then. I tend to do that a lot, but I'm just having a look at our actual calendar, gentlemen. Yeah, so race retro is 24th to the 26th. That was it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, we'll have a look for the 26th then. But that would be nice. Go and see some
Yeah.
cars in action, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, gentlemen. Thank you very much as always.
Yeah,
It's
thank you
enjoyable
very much.
chat. Have
Yes.
a good
Thank you,
week,
boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we shall catch up same time next week.
yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And keep us informed, Andrew.
I'll keep
Drop
you
us a message.
informed on Wednesday. Yeah, 10,
Yeah.
10 o'clock. She's going to ring me Wednesday, so I'll let you
Okay,
know.
mate.
That.
Good man.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
All right then, gents.
See you
Yeah.
later.
Great stuff.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay. See you later, lads.
Ta-da.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.